Good day and good day on behalf of the Women in Women in Engineering Committee of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. I welcome you all to the INWED 2020 webinar. For us, it's a great opportunity for all women engineers across the globe to meet together to celebrate the 2022 International Women in Engineering Day in a unique way today. We are hosting the award winners, the leaders, the prestigious leaders, and for us, we are very privileged today to have in our midst or to have a session with the world leading female engineers. They have been awarded as winners of the WFEO-GREE Women in Engineering Award that is sponsored by GREE Electric Appliances. The WFEO-GREE Women in Engineering Award was instituted in March 2018 to bring recognition and visibility to outstanding women engineers who have shown professional excellence and impact in their work and are role models and leaders in their field. As I said, today we would like to welcome them. We are hosting 5 of them, award winners for 2018 and 2019 and 2020. I think there are about 5 of them, and we are going to listen to them under the theme, Leadership for Innovation in Engineering. That is the theme for this program, this webinar. And the theme was carefully chosen to fall in line with the theme for the 2022 Day, Women in Engineering Day. The main theme is Inventors and Innovators. So our theme is Leadership for Innovation in Engineering, which falls directly in line. Today we are going to discuss leadership, we are going to discuss innovation, we are going to discuss how we are going to apply it to engineering to make sure that we continue to be the innovators we are and to bring this world to where we want it to be. The International Women in Engineering Day is celebrated yearly on the 23rd of June, and WFEO-WIE commemorates this 9th INWED Day today by hosting our female leaders who have been recognized at the world level as engineering leaders and have received this high prestigious award. It is indeed a privilege to hear first-hand information from them. I'm very happy that I'm going to talk to them. I have the opportunity using this platform to individually engage them on their engineering journeys and also their success stories. We have the program outline, and I'll beg Tessie if you can share the outline for us today. The outline is such that we are going to hear from each one of them. They will tell us their stories, and then we'll have a panel discussion on the theme. And finally, we are going to crown it all with a question and answer time. During the question and answer time, we will ask that you put your questions in the chat box and we'll pick them up from there. Today's webinar promises to be eventful and educative. And on behalf of WFEO, we would like to welcome all the speakers who are WFEO-GREE Award winners. If you can turn on your videos and give us a wave, we'll be very grateful. All our speakers, all our WFEO-GREE Award winners, please turn on your mics and give us a wave. Your videos and give us a wave. I see Prof. Y. I also see
Sabah.
Engineer Harriet.
Hello.
Sabah, and then Magali, you've put off your video. We have one person missing, that is Prof. Rosalind. She mentioned that she'll join us during the question and answer time. She sent a video and we will play it accordingly. Please, I would like to also welcome the president and members of the executive committee of WFEO to also give us a wave if they are in the meeting. Thank you very much, and you are all welcome to today's event. Members of the WFEO-WIE, kindly, Madam Chair, if you can turn on your mic and give us a wave, we will appreciate it. Madam Chair of WFEO-WIE, Engineer Yetunde. I am not seeing Engineer Yetunde. Tessie, did you give her the opportunity to? I think she said she's logged in with an account which is not really her name. So if you can give that account, it's got plenty characters.
Okay, can she give me a wave with the account she's logged in with?
Engineer Yetunde.
I've given her a right to her 2 accounts I can see here.
Madam Chair, we want to see your face.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We want to see your face. Okay.
Can you see me now?
Yes, you are welcome to the event.
Thank you very much.
Members, the presidents and executive committees of WFEO member organizations, we would like you all, we welcome you all, and we would like you all to give us a wave using the platform. You can give us a wave on the chat. And all invited participants, we welcome everyone to this eventful occasion. Once again, I welcome us all, and I believe that this webinar is going to be a transforming engineering leadership webinar. Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to introduce our Honorable Chair of the Women in Engineering Committee for the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, Engineer Yetunde Holloway. She is going to give us the opening remarks. Please let's welcome her with a wave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Enyonam. I'm honored to be in the midst of leaders of industry today. I respectfully greet all of you who have taken time to attend this webinar today, and particularly the panelists. We are really happy to have you with us. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. I will say, I'm not showing my video because I'm having issues I'm having some issues, but perhaps later on. I'll say a few words about the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, and then about WIE itself and all that. The World Federation of Engineering Organizations is the peak body for the professional engineering institutions worldwide. It was founded in 1968 and has national members from about 100 countries, representing about 30 million engineers. The WFEO works with the UN and other international institutions and agencies to address issues relating to engineering, to promote globally agreed good practice, and to address the challenges of sustainable development around the world. WFEO also regularly engages with governments, policymakers, and United Nations leaders to present the engineering perspective on world issues. A lot of the issues worldwide is because the engineering perspective is not well presented, or is not considered adequately. The WFEO is also a member of the United Nations Social and Economic Council and co-leads on the UN Science and Technology Major Group, and is an official partner of UNESCO, and the Secretariat is based at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris. So like Enyonam has said, the GREE Award recognizes women engineers who have shown professional excellence and impact in their work and are role models and leaders in their fields. And this award is given every year. And the World Federation of Engineering Organizations is proud to promote diversity, inclusion, and gender equality in engineering. This year, the award was particularly close to home because an IET fellow, Professor Leong is the 2022 winner of this prestigious award. And she's a theme lead for the WIE committee, who is very active and willing. We're very proud of you, Leong. But as Enyonam also said, this webinar is star-studded with previous winners and is a platform to share and exchange knowledge. We have quite a few professors and elite speakers here today. So the Women in Engineering Committee is a policy implementation committee of the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, WFEO, and it's being hosted by the Nigerian Society of Engineers at the headquarters in Abuja. Diversity and inclusion in the engineering and aligned sectors is crucial to addressing many of the challenges that exist in the world today. And our committee aims to inform debates and use the power of engineering and technology to promote equality of opportunity for all, especially the female gender, especially also in engineering. And we want to ensure the rights of women and girls across the sustainable goals will create sustainable economies that work for all, because it is proven that empowering women and girls helps economic growth and development. And our committee has 4 overarching themes. Our first theme is engineering workforce capacity building, and we want to increase diversity and inclusivity in the future skills pipeline. The second theme, which is what we are speaking to today, engineering workforce capacity building to encourage female engineering retention and leadership. And we are proud to have engineering leaders, female leaders in our midst today. Theme 3 is collection of engineering strategic indicators, which we are, I'm sorry, I have to say all this because I have an elite audience today. Collection of engineering strategic indicators, which we're trying to do with the gender scorecard, which I'd like people here to sign up. We want to know the registered female engineers, professionally registered female engineers in member countries, so as to be able to present these figures to policymakers, so that we can, and to aim towards achieving at least 30% female engineering participation across the globe, at least 30%. And the fourth theme is working in partnership to address the sustainable development goals, with particular emphasis on goal 5, which is gender equality, and the relationship to other goals, in particular SDG 13, climate change, and 17, partnership across the goals. A lot of this is available on the website, but it's good to speak about it and at least to pique interest in what we are doing. Thank you very much and welcome again to this August event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We are very, very privileged to hear that WFEO-WIE is working under 6 strategic teams, under 4 strategic teams, and you have drawn our attention to the fact that we need to pay attention to every one of those themes. And we are actually working with the, this webinar is in line with the second theme, which is engineering, female retention, female leadership and retention in engineering. We also asked us to also pay attention to the female engineering statistics as well. And I would like to iterate this, that every member country is required to come out with the base data telling us how many female engineers we have for each category of engineering. There's a scorecard as well. Our leaders are aware of this, and we need to work towards achieving closing the gap in engineering. At this point, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Engineer Prof. Dr. Leong WIE. Engineer Prof. Dr. Leong WIE is the immediate past chairperson of the Institution of Engineering and Technology, that's in Malaysia local network. She's also currently the vice president of the Institution of Engineers Malaysia, that's for 2022, 2020 up to 2022. And also the vice president of the International Network of Women Engineers and Scientists. and a theme lead for the Women in Engineering Committee under the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. Her specialty is in medical signal processing and telecommunications research. In line with this, she has been researching IR 4.0 wireless sensor networks, ultra wideband and wireless communications, and on brain signal processing for signal condition and classification in various EEG-based mental tasks. WIE has received a number of awards. She has received the 2021 UN Women Empowerment Principles Awards as a first runner-up, as well as the IEM Women Engineer of the Year 2018. That is outstanding. She is also is one of the 10 outstanding young Malaysian top research scientists in Malaysia. She received that award in 2017. She is also an Asian Meritorious Service Award winner. That is also in 2017. The Smart State Math Women Award, also presented by Queensland Government Australia in 2005. So, Engineer Prof. Dr. Leong WIE, we want you to tell us how you received or how you managed to climb the engineering ladder to this leadership position, and you managed to receive all these awards, crowned it all with the WFEO-GREE Women Award. Thank you very much. So please, let's hear from Engineer WIE, Engineer Prof. Dr. WIE.
Context. These are the professional body organizations and institutions I have joined. I have acquired the skill and the confidence to deal with any kind of issues. Many people wonder whether they should study engineering at undergrad level, constantly considering the pros and cons of studying engineering. Even current engineering students wonder, at some point in their degree program, whether they should continue. Historically, technology and science fields have been dominated by men, which has created a taboo for women scientists and technologists. Women in this field can be stereotyped, and this can cause women to not want to pursue this degree or occupations. Three big challenges we face are: first, confidence; second, lack of mentorship; and third, understanding our salary. There are many of us who feel this way, but we must not forget that we are not alone, and there are ways that we can help get over these challenges. It is easy to feel a lack of confidence in various settings. Many people wonder whether they should study engineering at undergrad level, constantly considering the pros and cons of studying engineering. Even current engineering students wonder, at some point in their degree program, whether they should continue. Historically, technology and science fields have been dominated by men, which has created a taboo for women scientists and technologists. Women in this field can be stereotyped, and this can cause women to not want to pursue this degree or occupations. Three big challenges we face are: first, confidence; second, lack of mentorship; and third, understanding our salary. There are many of us who feel this way, but we must not forget that we are not alone, and there are ways that we can help get over these challenges. It is easy to to feel a lack of confidence in various settings. It's so interesting and fun to explore engineering technology. I learned on artificial intelligence, Industry Revolution 4.0, 3D printing, robotics, and smart manufacturing. I'm ready for any problem. I get a chance to improve the world and serve the community. I enjoy the people I work with from Malaysia, ASEAN, Asia Pacific, and World Federations of Engineering Organizations. It is a friendly and fun atmosphere, and I actually enjoy going to work with each other. I feel that the leadership team was great too. I'm most excited about collaborating and working towards something big, a common goal. Every day at work is an opportunity I have to contribute to the growth of the company. And this is what makes my day very. It's really wonderful when you know that you're actually positively contributing something to the society. I deliver talks, seminars, conferences, and social networking. I meet a lot of friends from different areas. ASEAN Miss Engineer Contacts, ASEAN Scientist Award, United Nations Leadership Award, and today we have the WFEO-GREE Women in Engineering Award. There are many opportunities for us to contribute to an exciting, forward-thinking, fast-moving engineering industry. We have to be part of them. We have to demonstrate our skill and knowledge to succeed in this role and at the engineering industry. Let's go beyond engineering. We have to showcase our diversity skill. I practice Wushu and Tai Chi. I participated in more than 20 international Wushu championships. It's so fun and these are the professional body organizations and institutions I have joined. I have acquired the skill and the confidence to deal with any kind of issues. I know exactly how to go about it and where to solve it. No matter how big the issues, I will view every issue as a challenge and an opportunity to grow. Thank you very much. Leong from Malaysia.
Thank you very much, WFEO, for that outstanding presentation. You have actually traveled through a long path. What even inspires me is the kind of technologies you have worked with. We would like to thank you for sharing with us your journey, and we will continue to engage you to see how best you can assist the younger female engineers to be able to climb up the engineering ladder. Our second speaker is Prof. Rosalind Archer, and she is the head of the School of Engineering at Griffith University in Queensland, Australia. She actually joined this university recently after working 19 years at the University of Auckland, where she became the Deputy Dean of Engineering Energy. Energy in a range of forms is her expertise, her professional interest and expertise. She holds a PhD in engineering from the Stanford University. Her teaching experience ranges from the first year engineering classes right down to the specialist graduate coursework as well. She has also led many non-degree educational projects, corporate short courses, and international aid projects in New Zealand and overseas. Rosalind is the immediate past president of Engineering New Zealand and continues to serve on its governing board. Prof. Rosalind Arthur, we are very privileged to have you. She comes from Australia, and we would like to hear from you, your engineering journey, any challenges, your advice to the younger engineering female professionals. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I thought the crew were going to be using a pre-recorded video that I had made. Yes. Yes, let's use the video. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be right now. My name is Rosalind Arthur, and it is my privilege to be a professor at Griffith University and head of its School of Engineering and Built Environment. So just reflecting on my journey as an engineer and kind of what it took to end up this way. When I think of that journey, it's one that has been very rich in terms of interactions with wonderful people, interactions with fascinating ideas and global technical and social challenges, and one where I have been able to travel the world. So I truly love what I get to do as an engineer. How did I get here? Well, it's been a fascinating journey. I went to school in New Zealand. I am from New Zealand, and was good at maths and science like many aspiring young engineers are, but I knew nothing about it as a profession. No one in my family had been to university. I didn't really have a reason to interact with engineers. But a summer high school opportunity for high school students to spend a week at the university alerted me to it, and it became something that I really was thrilled to discover. So I studied engineering in New Zealand, and when I think back on finishing that degree, I wanted to study overseas and to continue further. I had aspirations to work in the petroleum industry, become a petroleum engineer, but to do it, I needed a scholarship to study at an overseas institution. It was not possible in New Zealand to study petroleum engineering. And it just seemed too far-fetched that anyone would give me a big enough scholarship from, you know, someone from a small town on the other side of the world to make that possible. So I almost gave away the dream, and I started applying for jobs, and I was a good student, so I got jobs. And I remember going to a wonderful professor of mine and saying, look, I have these 2 job offers, which should I choose? And he almost took the letters out of my hand and assured me that the answer was neither, and got me on the road to, back on the road to doing a PhD. So I got a full scholarship to Stanford University and did a PhD with wonderful professors there that launched the next phase of my career. So if we fast forward to now and think about what really drives me, it's the fact that engineering can make such a difference in the world in terms of energy, for example. I do most of my work in energy. These days I work in renewables, and energy, clean energy, is just such a powerful force in terms of what it can do for people and communities and helping on the world's decarbonization journey. What I also get a kick out of is empowering other people. So much of my work now is more in engineering leadership, leading project teams, leading in academic roles. So here at the University at Griffith, I have a staff of nearly 100 people who are really out there trying to educate the next generation of engineers. And that's really exciting. So how was I recognised to receive an award from WFEO? Well, at the time I was serving as a senior leader in Te Ao Rangahau, or Engineering New Zealand. Te Ao Rangahau is the Maori name for our organisation. So I worked my way through senior leadership roles there, becoming president of the organisation in 2021. It's an organisation with a membership of 20,000 New Zealand engineers, including students. And that was a truly incredible opportunity. So it was Engineering New Zealand that put the nomination together. And I was truly surprised when I got the letter from WFEO awarding me the highly commended honour. And I don't go seeking recognition, but it is a wonderful chance to be put out there as a role model. So in terms of my advice to younger engineers and to women in general, would be to believe in yourself, constantly believe in yourself, back yourself. Find other people who will back you, like that wonderful professor that backed me at such an important part in my career where I was wavering. So find people who will trust you and empower you, and then in return, pay it forward and empower others. I would have finished with a few reflections on leadership. I think people have preconceived ideas of who and what a leader is, that you have to be a charismatic extrovert to really be seen and act as a leader. But that's really not true. If anyone has a more introverted personality, as many engineers do, myself included, remember that one truly important ingredient in leadership is being able to listen to people, being able to understand people. And if being a little more introverted and listening more than you speak is something that sounds like you, then that can be a true leadership superpower. The note sort of asked, how I became a leader. And I think it's just something that's always probably been a part of my personality, and leadership exists at all sorts of scales, whether it is within a project team, within a household, within a volunteer organization. So I think anyone who wants to go on a leadership journey has opportunities to do it at whatever scale. And I think the key is to keep learning and to keep reflecting on whatever leadership opportunities exist for you, and say, what did I learn from that? How could I do it differently? How could I be better? How could I empower other people more? And just commit to continuing to learn. I am continuing to learn about my own leadership journey. So I will wrap it up there. I will come online live for the panel session, stepping out of another event, but look forward to joining you live soon.
Thank you very much, Prof. Rosalind. Prof. Rosalind mentioned that we should believe in ourselves. We should have a role model. If we want to be leaders, we should serve in associations, NGOs. We should commit to learning more and more. I believe we are all learning today. And it's really, 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 really an honor to hear firsthand from the world female leaders we are showcasing today. The third speaker is Magali Anderson. She is from France, and she is the Chief Sustainability and Innovation Officer. She's a French national. She was appointed as a member of the Group Executive Committee and Chief Sustainability Officer of Holcim, then Lafarge-Holcim, in 2019, October. In March 2021, the group announced the expansion of Magali Anderson's role to Chief Sustainability and Innovation Officer. So when it comes to innovation, she is the chief person in her country, in her organization, putting sustainability as at the core of its innovation pipeline. Magali joined Lafarge-Holcim as Group Head of Health and Safety in October 2016. So you can see that she took 3 years to gain that leadership role to become Chief Sustainability and Innovation Officer. She's going to tell us more. Magali started her career as a field engineer on offshore oil rigs in Nigeria. That's interesting to know. She spent 27 years in the oil and gas industry, mainly with Schlumberger, holding operational line management positions like CEO Angola and region head Europe. During her career, she also held several functional roles, including Vice President Marketing and Sales, Vice President Shared Services Organization for Europe and Africa region, and Global Head of Maintenance. Magali graduated as a mechanical engineer from INSA Lyon, France. Magali, we would like to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here with you, especially with such distinguished company, and feeling humbled by the 2 speeches we heard. So I will try to do, maybe not as good, but I will try to bring my little stone to the construction we are trying to do here. So, you know, I was reflecting to what you both were saying about women in engineering. How do we choose such career? And in my case, I did a technical baccalaureate purely because that was the best option in the school next to my house, nothing to do with anything else. And then I was with all these men, and then I was looking for a job, and I really, at the time, we're talking 33 years ago, there was no such thing as internet explaining to you all the things you should know or all the things you could not do as a woman. So that was giving us actually quite a lot of freedom. And I started as an engineer. So I studied as a mechanical engineer, and I really loved it. I loved the technical aspect to it. And I thought, okay, so I want a career now where I will exploit those skills. At that time, we were only 5% of women studying mechanical engineering in my university. That university today, as entry, has more than 40% ladies. So I hope I was part of the pioneers who engaged that movement, and I'm so happy because I'm still very involved with them to see how it's gone. So I started my career, as Enyonam was just saying, as working on a rig offshore Nigeria for the oil and gas industry. And that was, you know, when I was studying, we were 5% women. On the rig, I was the only woman with 80 men at the middle of the sea. So that was clearly putting adaptability into big focus. But what I really liked about this career, and I think not that many people realize that, is how technical it is. You have to think that you are going to make some measurement that's going to help evaluate the reservoir at the bottom of a well by 100 degrees C temperature with huge pressure, and just using normal electronic with very little space, using nuclear sources to look at the porosity. So it's actually extremely technical. And I was loving that mix of not going to the office, doing something super technical while being traveling. And all my careers has been driven by that. So I had a mix of roles, as it was described just before. I had some very technical roles like VP maintenance, where I was trying to put predictive health monitoring type of ideas into the maintenance function of our organization, bringing the maintenance to the 21st century. I was also in charge of manufacturing. I was at some stage in charge of bringing super high technology of machining into China to double source some high-tech supplier that we had never been able to do because of how technical it was. So I was thriving in those roles, but at the same time, I had some much more practical, pragmatic roles. I was in charge of operations. I was the general manager for Angola, in charge of Europe, which are pure P&L roles where you learn how to run businesses. And I had some functional roles as well, such as shared services, where you take care of kind of all the support function. But this shows that as an engineer, basically, you can absolutely do everything you want. And that's what I told my daughter, who is now also graduated as an engineer. I said, you do that when you don't know what you want to do, because it opens a world of opportunities. So I am now in charge of sustainability and innovation. And frankly, when my boss came to tell me that he wanted to offer me that role, I had to look in the dictionary what sustainability means. Obviously, I'm slightly exaggerating. I was not that bad, but I had absolutely never done a thing in sustainability. And actually, I now truly think 3 years down the road, with all the transformation we made in the company, that it's almost a strength. And why it is a strength is because, of course, I had the expert working with me, and being an engineer, you have enough technical background to talk to them, to understand what they do. But those experts, and by the way, Holcim is building materials, so we make a lot of cement concrete. So decarbonizing our industry is super technical. It's not, it's more chemical than mechanical, but there's also a lot of process, so both work. So it's very technical. So having a mix of understanding the technology side, but also understanding the operations and how it works, and in the same time, the passion for the topic, it's really what can drive you for success. Because if I was only technical, I wouldn't be able to implement because I couldn't talk with the operations. If I was only business, I wouldn't understand the technical side. And this is where, again, as an engineer, touching a lot of roles, which, I mean, frankly, if you had told me 33 years ago when I graduated that I would do so many different roles, I had roles in supply chain. I mean, I would have never believed it. It actually makes you so much stronger and allows you to think of everything. So now, if I could give some advice to the younger population, I would say, first of all, just follow your dreams. I know everyone say that, but truly, I think once you have that type of technical skills behind you, you can absolutely do everything. You have to be curious to learn. Why did I do the sustainability job? It's because I wanted to learn, because I was passionate by the topic and I knew I could do it. And then, particularly to the ladies, don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do something. Again, looking at my CV, most people would have said you can't do sustainability, but I went for it anyway. Particularly yourself, you shouldn't tell yourself you can't do it because usually we are our worst enemy more than anything else. And maybe my last piece of advice would be, don't feel you have to ever prove anything. I always tell people, if a company picked you for a role, the companies, they need to deliver. So they only put in the role the people who are truly the best fitted in the company to do that role. So if you are not fitted for that, they wouldn't have picked you. So you don't have to prove anyone that you are the best person to do the role. It's granted by the fact you were put on that role. What you have to do, though, is work hard to make it a success and be passionate about what you do. And I will stop there. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Magali. That was a very splendid presentation from you. I learned that we need to touch different areas as engineers, and that makes us much stronger in our field of engineering. You have also mentioned that we should follow our dreams, and we should make sure that as ladies, no one tells us that we can't do anything. And we should know that we'll be able to do everything once we are engineers, once we have the technical skills. And so I would like to encourage us. Magali shared how she did not know anything about sustainability, but now she is the chief of sustainability and innovation. That is very, 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 very encouraging. And I would like to encourage us all to continue as we are working. We should not let the sky be our limit, and we can do anything that we want to do. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Magali. We are so grateful. Our next speaker is Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur. She is from Ghana, and she's from the same country as I am, and I'm privileged to introduce her as one of the WFEO-GREE Award winners. Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur is the co-founder and executive partner of Arthur Energy Advisors. She's also a leading energy consultant. That's a leading energy consulting firm that's offering world-class advisory services across the West African sub-region. The company was established in 2001 And she's the team of the technical, financial, and regulatory legal professionals who contribute to the much needed indigenous professional perspectives and insights to adequately contextualize the solutions being offered for optimized outcomes. With her career spanning over 35 years, Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur has worked in various strategic and senior roles at the Volta River Authority, at the Ghana Great Company, and also at the Kumasi Institute of Technology, Energy and Environment, KITE, a development organization, and other energy advisors. Harriet does not only see what she does as providing services, but she believes that as professionals, leaders, and indigents of West Africa sub-region, we should own and champion the issues that affect the sub-region and keep looking for opportunities to contribute through achieving total resolution and ensuring its sustainability. Harriet has demonstrated this conviction by the way she has led teams to execute projects and assignments for the public and private sector clients across the West Africa sub-region, across the ECOWAS sub-region as well. And she's in doing this, she has attracted hundreds of millions of dollars of investments into the sub-region. Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur, we are glad to have you and to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Enyonam, and thank you so much, ladies. I feel extremely honored to be part of this group and to share a few thoughts on my journey as well. So I would like to share through some presentation notes I made, because ladies have spoken so much, so well, and I knew quite a bit from the lessons, the journeys that have already been. My story as an engineer started from an early age, maybe not as engineering, but somebody who was very interested in mathematics. I suppose maths was the single subject I could, at a very early age, say I loved and was comfortable doing quite a bit of. So that's how I started. I went on to go through the process of, in our country, the options were two. Either you are a liberal arts student or a science student. And therefore, wanting to study maths, I went into the science lane and did my usual O-levels, A-levels, entered university in search, ended up in engineering in search of an applied maths profession. So again, like one of the ladies had already shared, any engineer in my family or in my background to learn from, but it was more in search of an applied maths career. Now, after school, I was fortunate to work for the Volta River Authority. At the time, a vertically integrated power utility, and therefore was looking at the entire value chain, production, transmission, distribution, the whole gamut of things, and was actually the key planning agency for power in our country as well. The utility was also, Ghana was at the time was also intertied already with about 4 countries. So we had quite a sophisticated, at that time, a sophisticated control center. So in working in VRA for 17 years, I had quite a wide of experience practicing engineering. I would say that is where I actually cut my teeth as a professional engineer. And luckily, I got the opportunity to work in management information systems. In my time, portable computers that sat on desks were just beginning to come. Because when I was in university, the computers used to occupy whole rooms, 3-bedroom, like really spaces. But in VRA, my early years in VRA, the portable ones started coming. There was a management information systems department opportunity to do quite a bit of computing and programming. So that was very useful for me. I also had the opportunity to actually train as a human resource person. Now on hindsight, I think that being the first engineer, female engineer to have worked with the Volta River Authority in their powerhouses, they may have thought that maybe a few years after working in the powerhouse, I may not be interested anymore, and were preparing me to go into human resource. It turned out valuable training that I got from VRA. I went on, as we've said, to work with the Kumasi Institute of Technology, and an interesting one because the VRA was a very relatively big organization at the time, more than 3,000 staff strength. The Kumasi Institute of Kite, on the other hand, at the time had about 10 people. It was an NGO, a hooligan organization, you know, going more into rural areas, and working with Kite gave me the opportunity to visit some places in my own country for the first time, and also visit rural West Africa in many countries. And this was a turning point for my career, because for the first time in my career, I actually could put faces to the people I was serving. Now, the communities I visited were very underserved, didn't have much, but it gave me the opportunity to come out with solutions that changed their lives. I mean, just a little project that brings access to electricity to these communities, and you can go back just a year later and see how life had changed. That really was a game changer for me. It also taught me how to actually look at real life things and not just be dreaming too much in the sky. Come right down to earth, where Ghana, in the South region, and help alleviate some of the real issues on the ground. I actually would say, on hindsight, that maybe my work in Kite was what launched me into what I'm doing today, consulting. Because in doing my consulting, where we identify issues, we define them, we prepare them, we get them ready to actually engage with investors and bring investment into the issue. I'm using the same skills that I used when I was working with the NGO in rural areas and so forth. So that was really useful. Another thing that has been very helpful was the fact that the founder of Kite at the time, who happened to have been not a female, was such a mentor to me. They so believed in me and gave me such opportunity, free rein to put my ideas into practice, and urged me on. You know, that I think that it really helped my confidence as a professional engineer. And he also gave me a lot of exposure. He seeded platforms that were supposed to be his to me, to allow me to speak to investors and bring in investment. So that was really, really, really helpful. Now in Arthur Energy Advisors, we've done big projects. I mean, ranging from over 300 megawatt power plants, and you know, helping with the definition and seeding them and so forth. So this has been useful. And I'm telling all this to say that it started from a very humble beginning. And today I've made some good progress. My goal in life has always been to be the best that I can be at all times. I continue to learn, but at every stage in my life, with the knowledge and the resources available to me, I have sought to do my best. If I will share lessons today, I think on hindsight, again, so many years of being in this industry, I'm really the captain of my ship, and the direction of this ship depends really on me and nobody else or circumstances. I also know now that I've got all it takes to captain this ship. So that will be my encouragement to other people as well. My challenges, I will share 3 of them. One of them has been that being one of the very first female engineers in my country, it sometimes feels as if you were new to that space, you were a new species. And if you're not careful and you're not intentional about one's mindset, you become more or visitors to the space rather than recognizing that you were key participants and stakeholder. Now, the second thing has been marriage and raising a family. Trying to combine that with my profession at the time when there were no computers, and therefore, you know, you needed to be present, really physically present was an issue. So when you're having children, it kind of disturbed the career a little bit. I think that today, really computers and remote learning, and with COVID having formalized online working for everybody, really, the world is playground as females as well. I think one thing that helps us as women and should help the younger engineers coming is technology. With technology, there's so much more they could do. So that's one, those are some of the things I'll share as opportunities that technology allows you to make it. You also bring new perspectives as a female to this arena, because the engineering field is dominated by men. But as females, we bring new perspectives, we bring new skills. We also bring to the table our uniqueness, just because of the way the experiences that have shaped us in society, because we have all kinds of rules that we end up playing in society. Apart from the negative sides that has been overdrawn, they actually shape us in a very unique way to be able to do things in a different way from how our male colleagues do things to the table. If I was asked to advise the younger engineers today, I think one of the panelists has already said it. You're really not competing with anybody. You want to be your best self. So at any time, and you never really have it all together. So you may as well start being your best self with the ingredients you have. You take what you have and you become your best self with it. And you have all the resources. The thing is to be careful about trying to do it alone. Don't. You don't need to prove anything, as has already been said, to anybody. So take all the support you need and build systems for yourself that allows you to be able to do much bigger things than you could have done on your own. Now, in leadership, I think that I've come into leadership because I naturally like to make things happen. If I'm not comfortable with things around me, I seek to change them. And I'm not somebody who tends to ask too much permission. I just go ahead and take responsibility. I don't mind taking the initiative, so I go ahead and do it because I really don't mind the hard work. That's how I generally have come into these positions. And I'm rather a pragmatic person. And so when I enter into spaces, I look at the environment ways I can bring the solutions to bear. I really don't over stereotype or over specify the solution to look at the environment, contextualize it, and make sure I get it right. And because of that, I had the opportunity to do quite a few things. For instance, I sit on the board of Ghana's leading private liberal arts university. And when they were opening their engineering program, they asked me to join the board so that I can help with recruiting women into their engineering program. Today, they have almost about 50% women enrollment in their engineering program. I've had the opportunity to do a few other things, but I think that I agree with the other panelists when they've said that engineering is a great bedrock to have as a first degree, because it gives you a very unique way of thinking and an approach to doing things, and it gives you the confidence you need to move forward. So my advice again to the younger ladies is that technology today has made the world your playfield. So go ahead and make it your own and enjoy yourself whilst you're doing it. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you very much, Madam Harriet, Madam Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur. That was so insightful. I have learned that you, with your rural experience, you have been able to learn how to deal with the less privileged in society. You come with a different perspective in addressing engineering problems. You also mentioned that your mentor, someone was your mentor and helped you and believed in you. So I would like to encourage us female engineers who are coming up, when someone believes in you and gives you the opportunity, once our female engineering colleagues believe in you, they will be able to nominate you into various places, and we should take advantage of the opportunity. We should stop giving excuses. We should be ourselves, and we should allow the sky to be our limits. Thank you very much, Engineer Harriet Amissah-Arthur. That was very insightful. Our fifth and last speaker is from Egypt. Her name is Sabah Mohamed Mashaly, and she has a BSc in electrical. It looks like today we have a number of electrical engineering leaders in our midst. She has a BSc in electronics and electrical communications engineering, and from the Faculty of Engineering, Cairo University. That was 1986. She graduated from Harvard Business School. She got an MBA there, and she is the CEO of Egyptian Electricity Transmission Company. That is very, very, very great. She is a board member of the General Authority for Economic Zone of the Gulf of Suez in charge of electricity supply to the zone. She's a secretary of the National World Energy Council in Egypt, and she is a key person in achieving Egypt's advancement in the electricity sector and pushing the fast-track generation to the finish line, hence overcoming the sector's crisis during the 2013-2014 crisis that they had. She's the vice president of the Mediterranean Transmission System Operations and member of the executive board. She's a board member of the High Council of Engineers Syndicate from 2018 to 2022. She's the chairman of the Egyptian Women Engineers Committee. She was also selected as one of the top 50 most influential women in Egyptian economy for the year 2018. She was also selected as one of the top 4 women engineers all over the world. That's the WFEO in 2020 by the World Federation of Engineering Organizations and in UNICEF. So, Sabah, we are very privileged to have you. I'm reading, and it's not ending. You have so many achievements, and we would like to hear from you as you share with us your journey to this prestigious leadership positions you have held. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is a very tough job and challenging for me to be with this great distinguished panelist and the speaker. And the big challenge is to be the last speaker, because I learned a lot today from all the speakers. The lesson I learned today from all of them, that our dreams will be limited to sky. So I try hard to be on the same level of those distinguished speakers. And I will start with thanking the World Federation Energy of Engineering Organization for inviting me today to be part of this great gathering. I congratulate you on conducting the celebration of today under the theme of the topic Inventors and Innovators, because many new and innovative inventions were created during the Industrial Revolution. These inventions helped to high extent the Industrial Revolution and improved farming, manufacturing, transportation, communication, health, public safety, as well as all the economy. Innovation helps the world to stay ahead of the competition, especially with globalization and a rapidly changing market. Indeed, the innovation impacted positively the Industrial Revolution. They changed the way things were powered, how goods were manufactured, how people communicated, and the way goods were transported. These new developments allowed the Industrial Revolution to grow rapidly and spread throughout the entire world. From perspective and from the history, innovations have changed the world, enabling humans to produce more food and energy and establish social order and culture meaning. In fact, great innovation have marked several key turning points in human history, transforming society and our daily life. Allow me in this great and unique celebration to share with you part of my leadership journey. After graduation from the Faculty of Engineering in 1986, I started my career at Cairo University. Then I joined the Egyptian electricity sector in 1989 up till now. During this long journey, I got my MBA from Harvard Business School, and I was nominated and promoted for many positions in the electricity sector of Egypt in different areas, which ended up with my current position as the CEO and the Managing Director of the Egyptian Electricity Transmission Company. And this was in mid of 2019, and it will be extended hopefully up till January 2025. Leading the biggest company in Egypt and one of the biggest companies in the MENA region is not an easy job, especially for a woman engineer for the first time in our company. The number of employees is currently about 27,000 employees, and the annual investment plan exceed about $2 billion. During my leadership in the electricity sector, I succeeded with my colleague to achieve Egypt's advanced in the electricity sector and overcome the sector's crisis. And we could manage to overcome severe electricity shortage and the cuts to have currently over than 30% as a reserve margin, which we consider is a very good achievement. In addition to the implementation of the electricity interconnections with 4 Arab neighbor countries, we already managed to do this during the last 7 years. And lately, we are finalizing some sort of studies in a very matured way for the Great Interconnector project between Egypt and Europe via Greece. I have been awarded as one of the top 50 most influential women in the Egyptian economy for year 2018. Also, I have been awarded as one of the top influential leader of the country for year 2021. So far, I am satisfied with my achievement, but also I am very confident that there are a lot we have to do. Finally, if I may advise the new generation of young women engineers, because I have actually a lot of them inside our engineering syndicate, also in my place of work, in my house. I have 4 young engineers in my house, the 2 sons and their 2 wives. So I keep telling them, always you have get a mentor, learn the skills of management as early as you can. Keep asking questions for more knowledge. It is not shame to ask always the question in order to increase your knowledge. Never stop learning. And finally, stay up to date with other engineering fields. It is a good lesson to learn that women always have a creative solutions and creative way of thinking. It is not something related to the gender, but in my opinion, women are always committed to achieve their targets. Last but not least, I repeat my sincere thanks to the World Federation of Engineering Organization, especially Women in Engineering Committee, not only for inviting me today to be part of this great gathering, but also for nominating me to be awarded as one of the 4 highly recommended commanded women engineer all over the world for year 2020. I hope for all of you a very good discussion. Thank you very much, and thank you for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabah, Mashaly. We are very, very grateful for your submission. I have learned that, and from all the submissions, there's one thing that stood out that says we should have a mentor, we should have a role model who we can look up to, who believes in us. You have also told us that we should learn management skills because that is going to help us to be able to get into the leadership positions. Is that we should not stop, we should never stop learning, and we should continue to ask as many questions as possible, and we should stay up to date with technology and the changing trends in engineering. These are great and insightful lessons that have come to us from you, and we are so honored to have you today. Thank you so much. I believe we have heard a lot from our speakers, and there are a few questions as we move into the panel discussion. I don't want us to go past the 12, that's in about 30 minutes, we should have closed this webinar. So I will see how I can manage the time from this. I would like to encourage everyone to type their full names, their email addresses, and also the country where you are coming from. Type this in the chat, this information in the chat, your name, your country, and then your email address, so we can get in touch with you and share with you the reports from this webinar as well. We would like to enter into the panel discussion, and I would like to ask our panelists a few questions. I think one question per panelist, and then we should be good to go. So I will say that for each of the panelists, we want to hear from you. What is the importance of increasing women participation in engineering to promote innovation? So, what is the importance of increasing women participation in engineering to promote innovation? And so any of the panelists can take this question.
Yes.
Answer it.
Yes. Can I comment?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Actually, to stay competitive globally, the national need, the nation needs the talented and the creative ability of all its people, both women and women, in fact. But women currently are a smaller part of the science and the engineering workforce in industry. And in our nation's colleagues and universally as a whole, beyond the importance, moral, ethical, and justice argument in favor of diversifying in science or technology, engineering, and all other fields, researchers proved that this lack of diversity in many fields could impact the productivity and innovation as well. So in particular terms, the involvement of women is essential. A more diverse workforce, which reflects a wider variety of experience and views, can greatly benefit the set and the enterprise as well as the society as a whole. This, in my opinion, the involvement of women engineers is something we cannot ignore because it will impact all the improvement and the productivity in all fields in our society.
Thank you very much, Sabah. That is great. I would also like to hear from the other panelists. Madam Rosalind Archer, if you are here.
Sure, yes, I am. I've stepped out of another event. I'm at a charity ball, so I'm dressed in a gown and there may be some noise. But I think it's really important that we have more women engineers so our profession looks like the society that we're trying to serve, because that influences the kinds of questions the profession asks, the way that we respond as a profession, because otherwise, if we don't have diverse teams and diverse voices, we're not going to come up with the answers we need to serve our entire society.
Thank you very much. So it's important that as female engineers, we make innovation a part of our practice of engineering to resolve the world's problems, as indicated by Rosalind. I thank you very much, Rosalind, for that answer. And we would like to hear from WFEO.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
do you
Yes.
why do you think that innovation is very important? What is the importance of increasing women participation in engineering to promote innovation?
Thank you.
What do we bring on board?
My opinion is women engineers and researchers are essential human resources for the development of the nation. And the result of the research and innovation by women engineers can also answer and solutions to various problems, such as climate change, clean energy, environmental sustainability, and appropriate technology. So according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, less than 30% of researchers worldwide are women. So this means that women's participation in science is very low. So to this end, we have International Women's Days and World Women Engineer Days is an opportunity to increase awareness of all parties on promoting women's participations in the development of science and innovation. Women are expected to become conscious of their potential and explore their abilities and interests in research and innovation, because these are key for building an advanced nation. To encourage women's participations, 3 essential things. First, support, investment, and acceptance of women in the world of industrial, engineering, and science must be promoted to inspire young women. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. WFEO. Thank you for your submission. We would like to learn a bit more about innovation from Madam Harriet as well. Engineer Harriet and Mr. Arthur, why is it important to increase females' participation in innovation?
I'll start by saying that I'm looking forward to the day when we don't ask this question of females, because I can imagine putting this question and say, why is it important to encourage men in innovation? That may sound odd, and I want it in the next few years to become odd to even ask that question, because again, we're part of, as has been already said, we're part of the human species, and we need to bring our perspective so that we optimize the outcomes for everybody. But I think that, and now answering the question, innovation is important because problems that the world faces are different and varied. And unless one can stand with the problem and innovate on the spot, or be able to come up with something that addresses the need at hand, we will maybe have an already cooked answer that we always bring to the table. And in a lot of cases, depending on what you're dealing with, it may not quite fit. It may have worked somewhere, but it may not work under another circumstance. And I think I have found that to be very true in my consulting as well as when I used to work in the rural areas, that we, in our power sectors where we had a lot of external consulting and they were offering great solutions to us, but didn't know our context too well. Things that were automatically supposed to have worked very, very well, because the context wasn't adequately considered, had hitches, and maybe in the long term you couldn't sustain the solution that was brought to the table. So it's very important that we all learn how to engage with the problem, and even if you have an already made solution, learn how to adapt or tweak it so that it fits well, so that it works. And that's why it's important that we innovate. And as for women bringing their innovation to the table, I can't emphasize it enough. We're different, we're unique, and we also doing some of the innovation and not depending on our male colleagues alone means that the world benefits from the whole than from half.
Thank you very much. We need to help in solving And we need to make sure that we solve the world's problems using with our perspectives on board as well, because we won't be able to solve world problems without the female perspectives. I went around trying to let everyone here understand, because the theme for the Women in Engineering Day is inventors and innovators. So if we want to be inventors and innovators and to be leading women, we need to make sure that we are actually bringing innovation, and bringing innovation means introducing new goods and services to solving real world problems and bringing about improvement as well. So as leaders who want to lead, as female leaders who want to lead innovation in engineering, we need to make sure that we are actually thinking out of the box and bringing practical ways of implementing or addressing the world's problems that we are in. And I would like us to thank everyone. I would like to thank everyone for your submission. We will go ahead, and we just have a few minutes to go. And there are some questions in the chat box, and also there are some hands raised up. Before we conclude the panel discussion, there are some few questions I wanted to ask each panelist. I want to make it short, if you can make it short for me. Magali has had to leave because she needs to be to go out of the meeting. She needs to be somewhere. So she asked permission to leave. So we are missing her on the question about the importance of increasing women participation in engineering to promote innovation. But I believe we have heard from Prof. Rosalind, we have heard from, these people are representing engineers from different countries. And it's really a good forum where we realize that, in fact, we have a lot of things in common, and to be able to address the world's problems, we need to work together as female engineers. I want to ask Engineer Harriet and Mr. Arthur this question. With your experience and diverse working background, you have come across a number of indigenous people who are not really privileged as compared to those who are in the modern cities, or who are exposed to so many things, including technology. Could you share an example or tip on how bringing these sub-represented groups' perspectives and making their voices heard can lead to innovative solutions?
Yeah, I mean, an example of a project we did, called the multifunctional platforms, where we provided access to electricity to communities. And these communities, the ladies already had chores they were doing. Some of them were commercial, like they were farmers, they were dehusking their produce, they were bagging, they were selling, and so forth. But what we had done in bringing electricity to their community was see how we get the women to own the facility and also operate the facility. We ended up learning so much from these women, because believe it or not, without the energy, the electricity, they had ways of going about their lives. And if one could listen to them and take out of it the wisdom in their ways of doing things, then one can incorporate that in the project. For instance, apparently, because the women have no social lives at all, simple things like, one of the things the multifunctional platform did was we coal and we use the electricity to pump water for them and so forth. But what it meant apparently was that the women no longer could walk with each other and chat as friends to the streams where they used to go to and fetch their water. And therefore, localizing it meant that they had to go to one place, they didn't have their social life. So we had to, when they explained that enough to us, we had to now incorporate that into the design of the platform such that it allowed them that space to have their social life, in addition to having the platform where they use it not just for water, but for all kinds of things. That was a small example I'm giving, but contextually, these women have lived so many years and have different ways of doing things. And if we will listen, there's a lot of what they do that we can bring into what we call innovation. So we don't import our urban life, detail into the environment, because that way then it doesn't quite work for them.
Thank you very much, Engineer Harriet. It's interesting to know that for those in the those who are underprivileged, you helped in taking electricity there, and also you provided a platform where they could actually advertise their goods and services and also do business as well. Thank you very much for that answer. I would like to ask Engineer Sabah Mohamed Mashaly. This year, the 2020 United Nations Climate Change Conference, more commonly referred to as COP 2017, will be held in Egypt, and the energy sector is one of the biggest contributors to this climate crisis. As a successful leader in the energy sector, what is the importance of innovation in this sector for achieving the climate goals, and what are your expectations towards COP in your country this year?
Thank you, Doctor, for your question. As an Egyptian, I'm very proud that Egypt will be in the Middle East that has been chosen to host like this very important event, COP27. I do believe this comes as a result of the tremendous efforts that the country exerted during the last 7 years towards the decarbonization and also all the aspects related to the climate change. For instance, Sharm el-Sheikh, the city that will accommodate and host this event by next November and before the event itself, will be completely a green city. The transportation, the lighting, the electricity, everything in this city before the event will rely on green resources before it starts. For electricity sector in Egypt, we were very aligned with the goal of the country to achieve the climate goals. In this regard, in the electricity sector, we did a lot of things. I can illustrate some of them. We adopted the 2030 vision for the country that aims to achieve a diversified, competitive, and balanced economy within the framework of sustainable development. Renewable energy has already been adopted. The sustainable energy strategy for year 2035 ensures continuous and diversified energy security and establishes the necessary condition to enable the increase of development of renewables through the engagement of all the sector, private and public, I mean. Moreover, the strategy confirms Egypt's ambition to become the energy hub between Europe, Asia, and African countries by expanding grid interconnections across the Arab region and beyond. And of course, it will rely totally on the green energy and the green resources like green ammonia, green hydrogen, all these green energy resources. Egypt is a home to a wide array of untapped solar and wind resources. And according to the new energy strategy for 2035, renewable energy capacity should contribute to about 42% of power capacity by year 2035 from the total mixed share of energy in Egypt. In addition, recently, Egypt became a destination for many international developers who have the interest to invest in producing and exporting green hydrogen and green ammonia to all Europe, especially after the Ukraine war crisis. Currently, our company, the Egyptian Electricity Transmission Company, is planning to establish a green corridor of a national grid parallel to the existing one to transfer electricity from renewable wind and solar farms to the hydrogen and ammonia green facilities. I do believe that all that has been done in the Egyptian electricity sector shall play a great role towards the reduction of climate crisis, and we are a part of the country who are aligned and have a very specific goals towards decarbonization and towards to have a very remarkable footprint towards the green and the renewable energy as a whole and the climate change and aspects in general. This is what I can say in responding to your question, Doctor.
Thank you. You've said a lot. It's amazing to know that Egypt is going to be the hub interconnecting Africa, Asia, and you mentioned another country. Europe, yes. And also you talked about green energy as well, and its sustainability and its contribution to the climate change. We are almost there. I ask that and indulge that you hold on, because we are just entering into our question and answer time. But before we do that, Engineer Prof. Dr. WFEO, you have won so many awards. What is your key advice to future engineers regarding what we should do, what we should learn, and how we should be innovative? And how we can help tackle the society's problems? What is your advice to us?
Thank you very much. My advice is try a lot of different things when you're young and figure out what you want to do. When you find a project that you want to involve, and find a place where you can make the biggest impact. So define your goals, commit yourself, constantly work on improving your problem-solving skill, focus on the details, learn from mistakes, and embrace the change. Always ready to change. Follow through with what you promise and understand the impact of your work on others. You try to gain the respect by delivering on your commitment. Be confident in your ideas and talks, and believe yourself. Be brave and keep going. So my advice for future engineer is not to listen to any stigma surrounding the professions, and choose a career path where you get to something you really enjoy. So going to work every day doesn't feel like work at all. Stay in the know for new technologies and try to see what new solutions and innovation you could bring to the world. I advise you all to be an engaged team member. Celebrate the success of the team, but don't forget to recognize the contributions of the individual in it. Find good mentors along the way, and in turn, share your knowledge and become one. Be willing to take on new assignments and roles, even if perhaps they are outside the scope of what you typically do. They will expand your networks and give you different perspectives and an appreciation of what others do to make the business successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We would like to thank all our speakers, and now we would like to take the questions. We have heard from all the panelists. We have heard from our chairwoman, and we would like to hear from the panelists. I believe there are some questions in the chat, and so I want to give the opportunity to Engineer Tessie to read out the questions, and then each of the panelists, any of the panelists who wants to take a question, can take that question and answer. Tessie.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Can you please read out some of the questions?
Okay. We have so many questions. We have up to 12 questions, but due to time constraints, maybe we'll just take like 2 or 3 as the moderator permits.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first question is from Harriet Farouk. And she's asking, what about the salary? What are the challenges of the female engineer as regards the salary? Then the second question is from Madina Essay. She's asking, please, what are some strategies to go by in instances where some bosses or colleagues assume you can't do, therefore limit your thoughts and capabilities? Should I read more questions?
Yes, just continue to read.
Right.
Try and read all the questions. What we can answer, we will.
Okay, all right.
Engineer,
And then the next question is.
Engineer Tessie, may I interrupt, please?
All right.
You can actually type the answers to these questions. Some of the panelists can type the answers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, to make it faster. And some are questions that have been answered in the discussions. So Tessie should just go through for the ones that don't have answers yet.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. I'm so sorry to have interrupted.
That's fine. Thank you.
We also have a question from Sylvia. She's asking, it's clear that childbearing most times impedes or slows down our career as women. Bouncing back from maternity leave can be a struggle. What practical steps did you take to ensure you still stay relevant after you have been away for a while and have to work better? Then another question. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay. This is my first meeting. I'm delighted. Okay, all right, that's not a question. I think those are the most important questions for now.
Okay, thank you very much. We also have one hand raised up, Hani and Amin. Hani, Amin, we want to hear from you. You have your hands raised up. I've observed that hand has been up for some time now. So I'll ask Tessie if it's possible, if you can unmute Hani and then Grace Saki, two of them, and then we can go ahead. Unmute them, they can ask their questions. We take the answers from the panelists, and then we will.
Hani is unmuted, you can speak.
Yes, hi, how are you? First, I would First, I would briefly introduce myself. My name is Hani Amin, and I'm also an engineer and was several postgraduate studies in management as well. My intervention will be very short. First, I would like to thank you all, and especially Engineer Sabah Mashaly for the invitation for this, because I'm one of the big supporters of women engineers. Because I do believe they have a lot to contribute to the engineering sector. I have two suggestions that I personally have a passion for. One suggestion is, since I do believe in this, based on a personal experience, actually my mother is an engineer and she was the former head sector for renewable energy at the Ministry of Electricity in Egypt. I learned from her something. When she got the opportunity to get the mobility on traveling abroad and working abroad for a month and a half in Japan, it actually changed a lot of her perspective. So I would take the mobility as one of the key points that can be contributing to the innovation and leadership for the women engineer. That was my first suggestion. The second suggestion, I think we should cooperate somehow on building a portal, an online portal or something like that, where we can bring innovative ideas or leadership, or at least just gather a list of those conferences or online seminars or etc., like those initiatives. So we try to unite the initiatives because I've been working, for example, with the World Bank on empowering women, and especially since I'm an engineer, I'm always biased to engineers. So I think those initiatives can be somehow combined. So my two pennies is basically, first is to increase like ways of mobility for women engineers, especially if they're in younger age. Second, I would say uniting our initiatives somehow so we can benefit more. And thank you so much for a great discussion. And I really appreciate the invitation from Engineer Sabah Mashaly for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honey. I mean, it's a privilege for us, or we are honored to have heard from you as well. One of our male champions. We hardly get our male champions to really support us. So our males to support us. When we have male champions like this, we don't joke around with them. Thank you for drawing our attention to the fact that we need to increase ways of mobility for female engineers, and we also need to unite using online portals as well. Thank you so much. I would like to, there was a Saki hand raised. It's gone down. Okay. Maha Mustafa has also raised his, okay, Maha Mustafa has raised his hand. Can you please unmute so that we can hear from him as well, from here as well? Okay, Maha, please, your submission, and then we will take the answers.
Thank you. Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
First of all, I would like to thank you very much for this occasion and this opportunity to share with you those very important discussion, and really it was very amazing. And I would like to thank also Engineer Sabah Mashaly for the invitation to attend this session. I'm really very happy to be one of the team of transmission company in Egypt for more than 22 years, and with my colleague Sabah Mashaly. And really we are very proud for the all the achievements which have been done in regarding the transmission sector, which transfer Egypt from a position with the lack of electricity to now we have saving more than 20%. I think Engineer Sabah has done very important role regarding this issue. Also regarding the sustainability and renewable energy with Bimban plant with more than about 1,500 megawatt. It's very important role regarding the green economy. And now, as a former engineer in the Ministry of Electricity, and currently as a chairwoman for the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Regional Center, GREE, we have very important programs and the training and capacity building supported by the FAS regarding the empowering of women, especially in the sector of renewable energy and energy efficiency. And you are ready to give a lot of training courses regarding this issue to empowering the women to be very skills, to have skills and to have a very important role in their fields and their works. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maha Mustafa. We are drawing to the curtain to a close. From the questions, I believe we have answered most of the questions. If you think that you did not get an answer, okay, there was a question that was about how the challenge of childbirth and combining childbirth and the engineering profession. I don't know if someone would like to take it, one of the panelists, and then that will crown the program. Anyone would like to?
And my suggestion will be building support systems. And this is one area, like many others, you cannot do it alone. You have to have systems of support in place, and find smarter ways of organizing your time so that you can have some time to yourself to do and take care of your priorities whilst you are raising your family. Support systems.
Thank you very much, Engineer Harriet. Support systems, so we can't do everything alone. Thank you very much. We would like to For us, we are just about to close the program, but I would like to share a few words. And our chairwoman mentioned that for the Women in Engineering Committee, we have 4 strategic themes. If you go to the WFEO website and you go to the Women in Engineering Committee, you see all our themes written there. And for women in engineering groups all across the world, we want to ask that you actually structure your program towards achieving these strategic goals, so that when you are reporting, you report your activities and you execute your activities towards achieving these 4 major themes. We have one of our theme leads, Madam Engineer Ania Lopez from Italy. She's one of the team leads. She serves on the same committee as myself. That's the Women in Engineering Committee. And she is going to give us the closing remarks for this occasion. Please, let's welcome her. Ania, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a good opportunity for me because I know very well the all women today participate in this webinar. I think that this initiative is a great initiative. Congratulations. A lot of people to connect women and men. This is very, very important for committee engineer for WFEO. I represent the engineer of Italy. I am a member, I am executive council of WFEO. I am a president, chairwoman of the Committee Awards of the Women. And the last year, beginning a new strategy internal to the committee, because the last year and a special year, because you remember that the problem with COVID and all process had together and work with my committee online. This is very difficult and create a new perspective with this award, because this award of the Women Engineer and WFO is very, very important. And I would like to change the idea and create a new opportunity for other women, not only by sector or probably a region. It's very important to participate and create with the committee the new criteria for the participation. This the important reason, because today all women to participate, to speak in this webinar. This is a work of the work of WFEO-GREE of women, and my idea. I think, I listened, I hear your opinion, your point of view about innovation, leadership, but I think my personal point of view is I believe that you are potential, you are a role model for women, and the skills, a different skill. For example, this is a lot of professor of the university and the manager and the specialization. This is very important, and create a group, a strategic group in the WFO, because it's necessary to increase more women in the engineering sector. And this organize this webinar help the women, because your change opinion, point of view, and a different part of the world. And this is very, very important. I think that is I would like to I believe and it's very important for the new generation. You are example for the girl. And we want to undertake some and the complex path of the care of engineer. And you need to continue to work and demonstrate the capacity, not only in innovation and technology, in all sector, in all activity. And it is very important to continue because I know that this is a big effort to organize the webinar, but it's necessary to continue because I think that this afternoon for me in Italy, this is very important because you learn, understand the situation in other countries. And this is very important because encourage and the colleagues to continue because this is a lot of difficult because you know that the war, you know that COVID, you know the situation, international situation is very complex. But I think the whole family of WFEO together to continue and to demonstrate it is very important, the women and the engineering. This is my quote. In this day, I think that is the family, the whole family of WFEO support the committee, support these women, support the awards, WFEO-GREE, and support all activity because it's very, very important you continue in this effort and to teach. This is the key words. And demonstrate your capacity. Congratulations for this afternoon, for the effort, but this is very important to continue in this way. Thank you so much.
Closing remarks, Engineer Ania Lopez from Italy. We are grateful for the concluding remarks. We would like to, before we go, we want everyone to turn on their videos. And we want to take a picture before we go, a picture together. But we would like to thank our panelists for the great opportunity to add to what Ania has already said, to have them to speak to us. We would like to thank all the organizers for making this program a very successful one, and to our attendees and to our panelists. Without you, we wouldn't have had this program at all. And we want to thank you for attending this event, honoring our invitation and attending this event to support us, to help us reason together as female engineers. And to our male counterparts who joined us, we want to say that thank you for being female champions. And thank you for supporting us in this journey. We would like to take a picture. And to our Madam Chair, the Chair of the Women in Engineering Committee, thank you so much for your efforts and for all that you have done to make this program a success. Thank you. Can we all turn on our videos so we can take a picture before we leave? Okay, Tessie, are you okay? Have you got the picture?
Yeah, you can ask them to turn on their videos.
All right, please turn on your videos. I think she's enabled video option for all panelists and all attendees.
Video filter هيطلعها ازاي؟
Have you got it, Tessie?
No, I've not. Please, can you take it from that end?
Wow. Let me see.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm actually taking, I'm wondering, okay, so I'm taking one. Can I take again?
Once you take one, you paste it in MS Word, then you take another.
Yeah, the next screen is not coming.
The one that you have in master in engineering.
So you have to take it. I am struggling with the next screen. But I've taken quite a number of shots. Okay, let me go to attendees. I'm not getting the rest.
Okay, let me.
Okay, at least for those whose videos are on, I've taken the picture.
Please, can you still leave your videos on? Let me take some.
Okay. No option to turn on videos for attendees. That is what the feedback we are getting. Tessie, we can't, the attendees are not able to turn on their videos. Okay, some of them are coming online now. Please spare us some time. We want to take videos as part of all attendees. And thank you for your time. We spent about 2 hours on this program. We don't normally do that. But it's I believe we've enjoyed ourselves. And, we want to thank everyone.